no fear. A little bit long, but no fear. He's going to get after it for sure. Wow. And for anyone that hasn't seen him play, you can see already he doesn't play a typical mechanically or shape of ball like a lot of the South Americans do. Much more offensive in his stroke mechanics and the trajectory that he creates on the ball.
Teixeira was the man on the left of your picture there that has been guiding Joao since the age of 12. He's talked about how he's almost like a second father to him. Should learn my left from my right, on the right. Suizio Hirido is was on the left. And that is a repeatable way to win points for Rublev. It's going to be interesting to see Fonseca, how he manages his return position.
Yeah, he's tried to stand in on a couple of these on the second serve. We'll see if he maintains that or if he's changing position. I find him to be extremely mature in his decision-making on the court for a kid his age.
Solid start by Rublev. What are the limitations in Rublev's game?
Oh, it's a good one, Mark. Yeah, I mean, he's, you know, listen, Andrey has maintained his position in the top 10, just like you said, 10 Grand Slam quarterfinals. He's a really great player. The thing for me is that his game has been a little bit one-dimensional for the entirety of that period. And it obviously revolves around his forehand, but if he could expand his game to include a few more things, a little bit more variety, maybe some usage of a slice backhand now and then when he has to defend, or even to just change the rhythm and points. He doesn't look to transition or come forward very much. He's a little bit one-dimensional, and that one dimension is really good, really, really good. And it's put him in a great position within the game for a long time.
Fernando Vincenzi, longtime coach of Rublev, was there in the left of your picture with the black cap on. Alberto Martin, career high 34 for the Spaniard. Vicente was 29 in the world. Both guys having 3 career titles.
That's an area right there on second serve. We'll see from Fonseca. He'll use it a little bit on first serve as well. He's got a very good kick serve. Gets a lot of action jumping up and away on that ad side especially.
That's signed up by Federer's own company. The clothing company has actually resisted approaches to get signed up by the management company for the time being. Also turned down Laver Cup last year as an alternate. Some scheduling conflicts. That shows some strength. His parents looking after him at the moment in the management front.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job of actually keeping things under control and not letting him go too fast. It's easy to try and make everything happen all at once.
It's not easy to turn Roger down. Guy's been in the zone for 3 decades. Nothing but net. Nothing but net for 3 decades.
Absolutely.
How do you keep the Rublev +1 forehand quiet?
Try to find the backhand.
I get that. How do you find the backhand when he's already going that way?
Yeah, it's tough. I think one thing. It'll be interesting to see if Fonseca tries to open the court to the forehand side to get back to the backhand. I think oftentimes you see players too focused on trying to find the backhand, and in doing so you end up letting him run around and find forehands from that side of the court. And that's probably where he's most dangerous, is when he finds the forehand from the off side of the court.
Now that's a positive second serve, and that is something that he's worked on. A little extra pace, a little deeper in the box. And we're on serve after the opening 7 minutes. 2-1. Brad, is it easy with a player when you get like a tough draw like this in a major just to sort of like put it to one side? It's just one of those things that happens, and you just got to be, obviously you're going to be mature about it, but there were better draws out there. How does it affect a player at times?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you first look at the draw, you know, there's a little bit of shock and awe, you know, like, oh goodness, I got to play this guy. I mean, again, Andrey's a consummate veteran on the tour. He's been around for a long time. He's dealt with a lot of stuff. So I think in the end, he's going to look at it, and he knows he's the favorite. There's a lot of hype around Fonseca, and he knows that. There's going to be a lot of chatter and a lot of noise. But in the end, when you get out here, you know, you got to concentrate and play your game and execute and do what you do best, and see what you get from it.
Magnificent Melbourne Park as we float over the top of it, and we're at the Margaret Arena, and it is going to be a big night here. Fonseca, who has won his last 13 matches, he won the Canberra Challenger without dropping a set, and he qualified without dropping a set.
That's well done. That's classic Rublev right there. Yeah, he the Canberra Challenger, he beat my boy Ethan Quinn in the finals. That's my third son. I've worked with Ethan since he was 6 years old.
Comes from Fresno, right?
Comes from Fresno. We were members at the same club, so I've known him forever.
Ooh.
Oh, goodness.
Let's hope he's okay.
Court jumped up and tripped him.
In a sport that is getting exceedingly long as well, as we just take a little look, he just got off balance there. His matches in terms of times have been astonishing. Under an hour, hour 15, hour 12, 3 times, hour 7 minutes, 53 minutes, hour 14.
I mean, that just goes to show how dominant he's been at the lower levels. He beat Ethan up pretty good. Ethan qualified and got through to the finals, which was a great effort on his part, and he didn't produce his best tennis. I think he was a little bit hyped up to play Joao.
That is a special shot.
It was a good read by Andrey to cover that and make him hit another ball there. That first forehand, this forehand right here was, I mean, the racket head speed and the length on the swing is so pretty. That's a good looking swing.
Just beautiful to watch. If you love this sport, your eyes are going to gravitate towards Fonseca. So balanced, and yet so destructive.
Yeah, all credit to his coaching staff. You know, when you see a guy at his age with the mechanics that he has, the footwork that he has, someone's done a phenomenally good job and understands the game really well.
Out.
Andrey will be happy to accept a few of those. Still standing in, trying to take the return very early right now. Fonseca's got a little bit of the Novak ready stance on the return. Very wide stance, very wide. If you are going to try and emulate someone, Novak's not a bad guy to try and emulate on the return.
Stays wide as well. You see players with a wide base and then they actually go narrow and then they get a small step out of the return position, but he actually stays wide like Novak.
Interesting here too on
Yep.
second serve, a little more narrow.
But his second split is still wide.
Still wide. Yeah.
That's some nice stats from Bolt 6, and Alex, who's in our ears now, we're not going to show you, but we will tell you that he's just said 98% of the returns that Fonseca has hit this year have been inside the baseline. He is doing a great job of taking his opponent's time away. Some decent pace serves coming in as well. That was at 169 from Rublev. Pinged back onto his shoelaces. That's how you deter your opponent. Take the racket out of their hands. 3-2 to Rublev. Good start. Quarter of an hour gone. Brad, it's a function of the game that you need duality of attack or forehand and backhand these days. It's very tough to get to the top if you're not being able to beat players from both sides. But also, I feel like the return has become even more important to be aggressive on rather than just making balls.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, there's a balance there.
Yes, you still need a match.
Yeah, because you say that, and you just mentioned, you know, Fonseca taking 98% of second serve returns inside the baseline. But at the same time, we're very used to, at this point in this era of tennis, starting with Rafa really, and then we have a very large majority of players now that return from very deep in the court on second serves. So there's a little bit of a balance there.
Time.
Fonseca, as everybody expected, settling in nicely into his debut in a main draw of a major. Rublev at the change of ends there was deep in meditation, trying to keep calm. Fonseca's highest ranked opponent he's beaten was at the Next Gen finals against Artifice. Of course, Artifice was the Frenchman that he beat in Rio in the round of 32 to pick up his first tour win and kind of change his career path. At that stage, he'd sort of verbally agreed to go to the University of Virginia. I bet they're sad they didn't pick up a blue chip recruit.
He was more than a blue chip.
Platinum chip. Actually, Jannik Sinner was the one that talked him out of it. Isn't it amazing that a couple of years ago, it was Jannik who said to him, listen, you're too good to go to uni. You know, you should think about that, because that was kind of the path that he was on. You would have thought it was glaringly obvious when you look at him now.
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, especially as a South American. There are plenty of South Americans that are playing college tennis in the U.S., but when you have this kind of ability, you would think that he was getting a lot of opportunity. There's the kick serve that I was talking about earlier. That is nasty. That was a heck of a service game. A couple of big first serves to open to get to 30 love, and then continued in second serve. I mean, not second serve, but kick serve ace there to close out that game.
Do you feel like that serve was more frequent in the 90s than it is now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why?
Probably tougher to return back in those days, but I also think that in this era, guys have gone to a little bit more pace on the second serve rather than the action of a kick serve. So they hit a little bit more of a topspin second serve that gets through the court a little bit faster. Yeah, I mean, that would be my, I just feel that the vast majority of guys now are hitting more of a topspin type second serve than they are kick serves. Kick serves very, very effective still. I'm lucky enough to work with someone. Tommy Paul, I think, has an exceptionally good kick serve. Very hard for guys to attack. And I think Fonseca is the same. And to see him be able to hit a kick serve like that, closed out that last game as an 18-year-old, it's scary. He's just going to get bigger and stronger as he matures in the next 2 to 3, 3 to 4 years. That's a great swing from Andrey Rublev. That's the one that pays the bills for him. Good balance on that ball. Great extension.
Tucking up Fonseca very nicely. This has been good from Rublev. Very, very tidy on serve. 4-3. Just giving you a little example. We called him Mr. Forehand, Brad. I think we called the wrong one, Mr. Forehand, when you look at those numbers on your screen.
Yeah, that's a pretty big difference.
I'm surprised it's that big a differential.
Are those only the ones that have gone in, or did that first point that he hit about 12 feet long count as well? Because he hit that one massively, just didn't go in.
No, we don't count unforced errors.
Yeah, I figured that.
Time.
As much as we've been singing his praises, and he deserves it, as we get towards the back end of this set, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with the pressure. And you would expect Andrey now to step up even a little bit more, and he's probably going to cut down a little bit on his unforced errors, try and put some pressure on him here. That was a good opportunity for him right there.
15 love.
Nice solid return.
Yeah, good return, good depth. Push Fonseca to his back foot there.
Oh, he read it.
He was sitting on that one.
Could have dialed down a little bit on the power. Just use what he was getting from the serve.
Found the baseline on that one though. And here we are, a little bit of pressure now.
It'll be interesting to see where he goes here.
And it'll be interesting to see if Andrey tempers things down just a little bit after that last miss from this side.
Oh, he was going wide again. Rublev.
Yeah. Rublev was looking for the forehand. 212 on that first serve as well. Just beat him with the pace. Nicely done.
That's what they've come to see.
Not very often do you see Rublev put on defense in a forehand-to-forehand exchange. Nice read right there by Fonseca as well to make him have to hit another volley.
See if Rublev holds his balance a little bit more here.
Yeah, he was coming straight forward on that one.
Gee, 188 second serve.
Yeah.
Well done, Rublev.
You and I were both thinking the exact same thing. He came. I had to look up to see the number, but you know, it was obvious. He came big on that second serve, and yeah, you're exactly right. Great job by Rublev. Good return there.
Unbelievable entertainment on break point.
I think everybody in the entire stadium, including me, was holding their breath. Both guys hit the baselines a couple times. We saw a little bit of everything there. Approach, volley, overhead, counter.
That was the first backhand down the line from Fonseca.
What a point.
Best sport in the world. Can he scramble to safety? So good. Brilliant from both. Box office stuff.
Heck of a game. Great entertainment right there. I'll tell you what, one of the things that stood out for me, a fine little nuance there was and it just goes to show you the maturity of the young Brazilian, but he after he won that point on the deuce side, he let out a little bit of a come on, and then he paused, he took a breath, he let his shoulders relax before he came up to play that next point. Very mature process to go through there. That's a good response from Rublev.
For 11 when he's made the first serve. May not be popping them in at the kind of percentages that you would like, just 50%, but he's been perfect when it's landed.
He's not the underdog when it comes to the crowd. This has been a great response in this game from Andrey Rublev. Talk about maturity.
Brilliant serving, absolutely superb. As Brad says, perfect response after what was just such an epic 8th game. 5-4 Rublev. And that's the beautiful thing about television. We can rewind to some of the best moments, and let's get you back to break point. Let's have a little look at it with AR. Look at this backhand, Brad.
That was on the line. Impressive recovery from Rublev to get that back in play. There again, off the overhead. Found the baseline on this slice.
Look at the length. I tell you, to reset in the middle of a rally like that, the way that Fonseca did at 18 is special. So many players with the power he possesses would probably just pull the pin out and try and detonate one. Outlasted Rublev and kept himself in this opening set.
Time.
A kaleidoscope of colours, and there'll be a kaleidoscope of stories that are unfolding over the 15 days at this first major of this year, this wonderful tennis event that it's become. Not just a tennis tournament anymore, the Australian Open. What a special place. You said it, Brad, right at the start, rightly so. Is he going to attack the forehand to open up the backhand? Well, he has the power to attack the forehand.
Yeah, that's the thing also. I mean, his recognition of what he's capable of doing with his own forehand. Basically, he's saying, look, I'm not afraid to play into your forehand. Well, let's go toe-to-toe from there. We saw the pace. He's winning the battle on pace.
And you know it's a great forehand when he hits so many winners well within the lines.
Yeah, he gets this ball up and down, no problem.
Complete opposite to his last service game. Sailed through it.
5 games old, first set.
It's the opening set, Brad, but the silence that we're getting before every single point just underscores the significance of the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got a pretty close to a sellout crowd in here, and everyone is engaged in every single point. We've seen this before too with Novak especially. It can be a little bit frustrating when you're Andrey Rublev and you have the history that he has, and you expect to get some support, but the crowd is excited to see this young guy come out and play.
One of the first times you feel he's overplayed the return.
30-50.
Adoration is going to be his constant shadow throughout the course of his career for the Brazilian.
Yeah, one of the biggest things he has to do is just manage his own power. Well done from Rublev. Nice little serve and one.
40-15.
Rublev primed for the challenge tonight, and he has been absolutely perfect on serve in his 6 games. 9th seed lead, 6-5. There's many components that make up power, Brad, for a shot. I think we're going to be able to take a little look in slow motion, hopefully, of Fonseca's forehand. Talk me through it.
I mean, listen, it starts from the ground up. The load, you see the legs, you see the drive from the legs through the ball. But then I love his swing mechanics. It's such a full, long swing. The one thing that's a little bit interesting to me is that he's got a little bit of a bend in the elbow. Historically, the guys with the biggest and the best forehands in the world are guys that have full extension at the point of contact. If you think about Delpo, you think about Roger, Rafa. Novak's a guy that always has had a little bit of a bend, but I wouldn't describe his forehand as being one of the great forehands. One of the most consistent, without a doubt, but not as much power generated.
Everything that we've been hoping for today has been in the opening 11 games of this first set between Rublev and Fonseca. Can the Brazilian take us into a tiebreak? And everything we've wanted up here in the commentary box has happened down on the side of the court. Andrea Petkovic, welcome. Hardest working woman in television.
I wish. No, everything is great. You have the best seat in the house, except for Chris Eubanks, who's in front of me. He's very tall. He's obscuring my view.
Smack him. Turnaround is fair play. Rublev taking time from Fonseca that time.
Talked openly last year about the one shot he wanted to improve his serve, and he has done so.
One of the things Ethan said after playing him in Canberra was that he changes paces and locations on his serve so efficiently that he said he was just off balance, felt uncomfortable all the time trying to figure out what was going to be coming.
Well, we're seeing 150 out wide kickers. We've got a 190 diagonal dagger. Paints it on the line. Detonates another serve.
Andrey's definitely not getting a read on the ball. On that deuce side especially, we've seen it, Mark. He's split stepping towards his forehand side, trying to guard the forehand, but misread that a number of times. Simple motion. Ball toss is up there for sure, but it's got the abbreviated motion there. It's very, very simple, very balanced.
Little extra audio, Andrea, on that return. You knew what was coming.
You can hear the atmosphere here. It landed quicker in Andrey's feet before he has even landed, and he defended it quite well, but not well enough. A bit short in the court, and you cannot give this kid, and I can call him a kid because he's a teenager, anything neutral in the center of the court. It's dead right away.
159 kilometers an hour winner on the previous point.
2-0. Fonseca.
This ball is crushed, absolutely crushed. Yeah, and the other impressive thing for me, Mark, is that he's on that forehand side. He can find the outside of the ball. He can square the racket face. He can find that last one. He found the inside of the ball. That ball was sliding away from Rublev.
Mesmerizing.
Goodness gracious. He was on defense there for about half a second. Countered that wide forehand from Rublev with a heavy forehand down the line. And then this ball right here, offside backhand. He's not 18. I think he's lying. Plays with such maturity. Until you see his face. Looks like he's about 15.
4-1.
Andrey needed that badly.
Hasn't done anything wrong. Finds himself 4-1 down in the opening set tiebreak. Got unlucky with the net cord. I think it just carried it wide of the line.
Yeah, absolutely. If it had cleared the net, it was going to drop in for sure.
The magnetic charisma of his tennis is going to generate this kind of atmosphere around the world. It's one thing to win, but to do it with a certain panache as well is everything. Dynamite. Absolute dynamite. What a gem we found.
7 games to 6.
Fonseca takes it on the breaker. Have you ever seen anything like it?
So impressive. Throughout that entirety of that set, the breaker, I mean, he just stepped it up even more.
I mean, good numbers from Andrey Rublev, and that's what he's got to tell himself, right? We didn't do a lot wrong. The guy just took the racket out of my hands.
Yeah, especially there at the end. He had that one opportunity That one opportunity where he created one break point. Had him under pressure in that one game, and Fonseca stood up to the pressure.
Yeah, EBS and Chuck would have had a hard time picking out which highlight to take. We've only got a minute or so to show you, but there were many of them. Just electrifying. In that opener, where do we go from here?
And it's the other thing that we spoke about as well. It's maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's where what's created, you know, the career that he's had so far, but Andrey doesn't really have a lot of B game opportunities. He's going to continue to do the same things. Better extended rally, needs more of those. I felt towards the end of that set also he was trying to find the backhand of Fonseca a little bit more. That rally he did. We're going to have to get used to that. We're going to have to start acting like it's normal, because it is normal for him.
Turns that ball cross court so beautifully, doesn't it? It's such a natural shot for Rublev, almost too natural. He can't fade it down the line. It's good on the juice because he can hook it down the line, find his opponent's backhand if they're a right-hander, and kind of then drift to the left. Little bit limited in the down the line return. My goodness, he has hit that serve well. To mute Rublev's forehand return is pretty impressive.
It's the serving pace. I mean, it's just like we're saying, you know, his game is so much mature than his 18 years. It's very complete. Everything we've seen, he's first serve, second serve, both sides on the ground. He's the returns.
It's good. Slipped it up in behind him.
And I think you're spot on, Brett, that Andrey is trying to find the backhand more. This is a shot he usually would take cross court. It's maybe his best shot, but he is trying to find the backhand of Fonseca more here.
This is too good. 209.
one thing that Andrey can do, and that is to test this man physically. And the longer these games go on, regardless of the outcome, just might take a little bit out of Fonseca's legs.
Yeah, and as we spoke about, it's his first time playing a 3 out of 5 set match. So how he manages this, staying out here a little bit longer. Great play. That's the beauty of 3 out of 5, isn't it?
Another tough, gritty hold of serve. Plenty of character.
Second set.
Look at that stat. Andrea, you were just chatting about what Sinner does. I mean, this guy has gone full nuclear in that tiebreaker. Look at the pace.
Yeah, it must be at least 10 kilometers per hour when you can see it.
Oh, I'm
with
sorry.
your
Do you not have a
eyes
screen
from
down
this.
there? I thought that's only on Rod Laver. Sorry about that. We're on Margaret Court here. We've shortchanged you. It's 11, but you are. Look at you. 10 you went, and it's 11.
Well,
You're a genius.
Well, you know.
I don't know what they're paying you, but it's not enough.
Well, you know, you have experts, and you have experts.
That's true. You absolutely. You have forehands like Rublev's, and then you have forehands like Fonseca's. 140 Ks he averaged in that tiebreaker. It's incredible.
First one of those we've seen. Pretty nice little variance there. Change up. Obviously the execution was extremely good.
For those that tend to follow tennis in the other currency as well, miles per hour, just for your information, that is a 90 mile an hour on average forehand in that tiebreaker. Come on. Lethal speed off the backhand now. Unplayable. Both sides hitting the 90 mile an hour plus range.
Amazing. Attacking the forehand. How many guys attack the forehand of Andrey Rublev? Out of his backhands there as well.
Round 14.
What a sequence of points. Just too much pressure on Rublev. There is no safe zone to go against Fonseca.
Not right now.
Fonseca leads 2
Just
games.
not able to take enough time away from him to keep him from being able to dictate and control what's happening on the court on either side. Add to that execution on first serves, the pace on the first serves.
He's gonna steal that as well. Not only does he have huge acceleration on the ball, he has unbelievable anticipation. It was not his finest drop shot.
So simple. The balance.
39.
He's got the relaxed aggression of Federer, the rhythmic violence of Rafa, and the spiritual serenity of Novak.
So you're saying he's good?
He's decent. He's kind of mid-range for me. Sensational. Absolutely scintillating. Rare tennis from Fonseca at the moment. 3-love, second set.
And by 1 set time. New balls, please.
All right, let's have a little look at this. And this is what you were saying, Brad. He's going equally to both sides. What about attacking Rublev's forehand? That seems like a counterintuitive idea. Not unless you're Fonseca.
He's taking time away from him. He's rushing the forehand. He's not giving Rublev a chance to really attack forehands the way he's comfortable and normally does against most players. As we saw before, I mean, he's playing at a higher pace and doing a lot more damage overall than Rublev is.
Deep in thought, problem-solving mode. The problems are plentiful. Andrea, is it about patience here for Rublev to hope that Fonseca falls off this level right now?
I do think that's part of it. I do think he has to try and hang on to his serve here and wait for this level to drop. Yes, this is an incredible player of the future, but this level surely must drop at one point, and that's when Andrey Rublev needs to be there, and that's when he needs to step up. He is giving a racket to string right now, and he needs to find depth. It's very clear from courtside, the moment anything drops short and Fonseca can set up for any kind of shot, really, not only the forehand, Rublev is under pressure right away. So if he can find depth, that's the way, and Fonseca's level drops, that's maybe a way back into this match.
Frustration creeping in as well for Rublev. Searching for some answers and not being able to find them at this moment. For me, I'm going to tell you, Mark, that the biggest adjustment for me that I see that Rublev needs to try and make, but again, we talk about he's so single-minded in how he produces his game, but his spacing in the court has to change a little bit. The ball is coming through the court too fast, too much penetration. He's got to actually give up a little bit of ground in the court so that he can catch up to the ball.
Brad, just to clarify, are you saying he needs to take a few steps back behind the baseline?
Yes, exactly. His spacing has to go away from the baseline a little bit so that he has a little bit of extra time to be able to cut the ball off, get in a position where he can make more of a full swing. He's not getting that opportunity because Fonseca's just hitting the ball so big through the court right now.
Tried to swing one down the line. He knew where Fonseca was going. But if he's not careful, this second set is going away for him at a rapid pace. Timely first serve, jammed in the corner.
Yeah, he needed that big time.
Change of direction, and he is equally as good at that.
And it's the first time we've seen him play that off the second serve on the deuce side. Offside backhand return hit clean as a whistle. Disappointed he didn't make that. Didn't know he knew how to miss at this point. Good playing from Rublev. Good battling. Such a big game here to stay within one break.
Been deadly with the serve out wide, has Rublev, and you could see there Fonseca thought Rublev was going back there. Great effort. Finally drops an anchor in the scoreboard. Stop Fonseca drifting further away from him.
Yeah, he needed that badly. As I said, you stay within one break here. Going back to what I said before, I would love to see him, and here we see him. Let's see if he's going to stay back here. I'd love to see Andrey take a little deeper position on both first and second serve returns. Second serves, give yourself a chance to get around, make a full swing on the ball.
If he's got a shot and he sees the lines open, he's got to take it straight away. I mean, Fonseca, 17 out of 19 first serves made in this second set.
That's pretty good, right?
Especially when you're averaging 192 Ks, it's very good. If you were averaging 100 Ks, it wouldn't be very good. And there's the blend you were talking about that Ethan faced in the final Canberra.
Absolutely. Slider wide on the deuce side, kick wide on the ad side. Change of pace, change of height.
Well, Rublev has done that amazingly well in this match. A couple of times he's tried to catch him out wide with a sort of 188, that one at 190, but Rublev has been there leaning on it. Well done. Scrapping hard.
Great shot making from Rublev in that point. Was able to maintain at least a neutral position throughout that point until he was able to hurt him down the line on the first forehand, and then great execution on the short ball. Nice smash to finish.
Keeping Fonseca within his sights. What a couple of games this would be for Rublev on the bounce if he were able to take this break point. Serving break points in the last game on his own serve, in danger of dropping behind by the double break.
And Rublev was just told by the coaching box to cover the wide serve.
And when the chances are coming so infrequently, it's not easy.
He got exactly what he wanted here. Forehand with time in the middle of the court.
Second serve.
He survives. Massive scramble to safety on serve for Fonseca. Maintains his break advantage in this second set, 4-1. Could have, should have, would have. Soundtrack to so many tennis players' lives, and that will be a little bit of what's going through Rublev's mind there on that break point. Wasn't so much it was saved, it was the opportunity on his favourite shot to take it that he couldn't quite capitalise on. And muted frustration by Rublev standards there.
Yeah, that break point he had created an opportunity to get exactly what he wanted. Forehand in the middle of the court, had time to set up, just couldn't execute on it.
Time.
Says one of his big bucket list items for next year is to get to an F1 race, so I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of the companies at the moment that are redesigning their cars wouldn't mind looking at his forehand and remodeling their car on that. Jet propulsion from Fonseca at times. And there is nothing that Rublev can do when he does get hold of it. It was a great battle those last couple of games. Hostilities resume now. And Joe, when you get somebody like Fonseca coming through like this, do the players tend to want to watch him? If it was on the ladies' side and you get a Martina Hingis breaking through, is it a night where they would want to actually watch Fonseca?
Well, there have just appeared a few, I don't know exactly if they are coaches or players next to me that are filming Fonseca. Taking notes, I guess. So I'm thinking 80% of the men's draw is watching this match right now. Maybe more. And out of the 80%, I take the 20 out that are on court right now.
Solid first serve ices the game for Rublev.
Second set.
Can the world number 9 get himself involved in another returning game here? Just about to show you a pretty remarkable stat coming up for Fonseca. Brad, what about that? Average second serve speed.
Yeah,
I mean that's Opelka, Isner.
That's everybody. That was the top 10, I think, ATP
Yeah.
top 10. So.
No, I'm saying where he's sitting. He's sitting at Opelka. Fonseca's sitting at Opelka, Isner.
Oh
those,
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's impressive. Everything we've seen tonight so far from Joao Fonseca has been impressive.
I mean, not only that, he hasn't served a double fault.
Yeah.
Blemish-free in that department and flawless from the 18-year-old. A game away from a 2 sets to love lead. There's always recency bias, isn't there? But you know, because you're watching him tonight, but when you see numbers like that, we saw 145 Ks on average in the tiebreak, 175 on average on a second serve. Where that sits in the elite level, you kind of sit here thinking, I've just never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a precursor to where he's going to be, and you know, he's about to break into the top 100. How long is it going to be before he breaks into the top 50? And from there, the sky's the limit. I mean, watching him play tonight against a player of the quality of Andrey Rublev and seeing what he's capable of doing right now is just a bit awe-inspiring.
Once again, Melbourne looking absolutely picture perfect, as has this 18-year-old.
15 love.
This has been a much more comfortable game for Rublev.
Superb. Bullet of a forehand from Rublev that stayed on rails. Did not deviate at all.
It's also the first time we've seen him out there with forehand inside in from that position.
Crazy to think that that is a second serve that is just so high in percentages, because he's dropped 20 Ks off it.
Yeah, that one he kicked in, took some pace off, but the action is there. It was still stretching Rublev to be able to put the ball in play. And that again for me on that second serve, I think if Andrey's deeper in the court there, he can take a fuller swing and create a little bit of shape on the ball that potentially pushes Fonseca back away from the baseline on that first ball.
Rublev with aspirations that this game could perhaps give him hope that this set would take a detour. Wasn't to be. There was another mauling. A hold to love.
6 games to 3.
2 sets to love.
Fonseca leads 2 sets to love. 15 love.
Out.
15 all.
Again, it's the consummate ease of which he produces the shot off the return, then makes the little adjustments with the feet, attacks the forehand.
It's just the constant pressure that he's been able to apply. You would have expected Rublev to be the one that's keeping the pressure on, making him play, but it's been a turnaround. Fonseca hitting the ball bigger, hitting the ball heavier, but also making Rublev play and fight for his serve every single time.
And as much as he's been outplayed, that is a great example of what you talked about earlier, Brad, that the stagnation in Rublev's game, as great as it is, and there are so many people that would have signed up for his career, there is not that willingness to transition, to change the pattern of these rallies.
Good serve there. Needed that. Yeah, it's what I said before. I mean, he's, you know, I think with a lot of the top guys, there's a bit of a stubbornness to their play. They know what works for them. They know what's been successful. But, you know, in this situation, he's got to be willing to make a few little adjustments. And for me, again, like I said, finding that spacing. See where he is off that as Fonseca's coming forward. Rublev's no more than a meter at the most behind the baseline there, and he's just getting his time taken away. He's got to find a way to create a bit more time for himself on those.
Nothing like a crisis to narrow the focus. Two wonderful serves to get himself back to deuce, having faced a couple of break points.
Goodness.
That's an earned double fault from the way that Fonseca has played.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's still a goodness for me. Credit to Rublev right now, down 2 sets, first game of the third, not giving in at all, finding a way to battle.
And that is Rublev.
Feels like a massive hold.
First game, 30 seconds.
Dug deep and got the reward he deserved.
Forced to dig deep.
And Andrea, those can be the pivot points in matches, can't they?
I agree. I really think Rublev should Medvedev this. I know this sounds weird, but I really think he needs to break the patterns of the serve here. And if he can get into the set, this is where he is able to test out the intensity of Fonseca. He's had 100% intensity from first point until now. It must drop at one point. This is the first time he's playing a best-of-5 set, and Rublev should somehow try and give himself a chance to get into the head, to get into the legs of Joao Fonseca. And I agree with Brett 100%. I've been watching his return patterns. I think he should go all the way back, just at least visually give Fonseca something different, because he starts back, but then he moves forward and ends up returning on the line.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Obviously, I said that before, Andrea, but I agree with you. And what happens is that he's trying to take the ball so early on the second serves. Fonseca's coming with heat on the second serve, as we saw before. And if he's not really clean on the ball, Fonseca gets the first crack at a ball and puts him on defense instantaneously.
It's a nice little interesting stat there. Look at that. That was actually a long rally behind his first serve. On average, it's under 2. That means that Rublev's not even making the return back. If he can get a second serve, at least he's extending the rally, Rublev. The problem with the number 5 is that that's Fonseca's shot. And he needs to either extend it to 6 or go bigger or 4.
Yeah, there's something has to happen. That's for sure.
I bet you can't wait till Tommy plays him, can you, Brett?
I mean, Andrey can't go any bigger or any better than he did off that return. And Fonseca just countered it. Little block, neutralized the return, and then finds offense right away. Tommy practiced with him last year in Madrid and got drummed.
It's only prep. 112 miles an hour, that shot.
Wow.
Good job it was only practice, eh?
If you're Andrey, you're starting to feel a bit jinxed with let court winner to start this game. Yeah, I was thinking earlier, you know, and I agree with you, Mark. I mean, obviously, we're talking about it. He's got to try and do some things different. But can Andrey Rublev transition? Can he come forward? Does he want to be a target at the net for a Fonseca forehand?
15 all.
That's where I think, like I said, I think plan B, the first plan B, is to go deeper in the court. Give yourself a little bit more space. Create a little more shape on the ball. How'd that sound down there, Andrea? A cannon?
It's usually I'm not speechless. That's like one of my few assets that I have, but it's just, yeah, 10-10. I have to say, I really admire Andrey Rublev here, because he could just as well sort of be like, what am I doing here? This kid is so young, he's playing incredible, but he's fighting so hard. He doesn't have any pride in letting his last sweat of drop here, drop of sweat, sweat of drop. It's incredible to watch.
14-7.
Great dig on the return.
Yeah, great dig on the return. I was thinking to myself as that ball dropped on the baseline, if you're Rublev, in your mind you're thinking, gosh dang it. And then the forehand that he missed, I mean, that's not a normal air either. That's feeling the pressure from what Fonseca is doing with him.
These could be such valuable games that he puts on the board here at the start of the third.
And that is Rublev.
Oscillating towards the abyss, but he is hanging on. And that's exactly what he's done. He's kept his serve intact in this third set so far. It's a fragile lead, but it is a lead, 2-1.
New balls, please.
Under the impression here that Rublev has called for the physio. I'm not sure 100% of that information, but that's what we believe. So there may be just a little bit of a delay here as we await the physio's arrival. But a couple of priceless games from Rublev. Found his first serve when he needed to. Not easy, I'm sure, for him at 27 years of age, having to be as humble as he's needing to be out here at the moment, understanding that he's getting outplayed and then he's got to dig in and just accept the punishment that's being melted out, hoping for the dip that as yet hasn't come.
Has not come at all.
Time.
First time in the main draw for Fonseca, not the first time that Andrey Rublev finds himself down 2-0. It's happened 23 times previously, just a couple of times he's managed to overturn that deficit. Sam Querrey in 2020 at Roland Garros. When he was absolutely red hot, Rublev, at the 500 level. Won 23 consecutive matches at the 500 level between 2020 and 21. He was untouchable, and against Rinderknecht last year at the US Open.
Well held on this ball again. Another mature quality, in my opinion, to hold that ball. Immense return from Rublev. It felt for a moment there like there was a little ripple, little change.
Now this was really interesting. Andrey Rublev actually mishit that return, so it had a bit of heaviness to it. And then he accelerated the next shot. And this is where Fonseca was late the first time I saw him sitting courtside. And I know that's not his game exactly, but maybe something to consider.
That's phenomenal. The timing, contact point, extension through this ball, the footwork. I feel the same way, Andrey. Wow.
Relentless application to the task here from Rublev.
And there has been, this game is the first game there's been a little drop off. He's made a few unforced errors here in this game that we haven't seen.
He was so eager to stay on the front foot. End up almost rushing himself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the same thing that I was saying before. A slightly deeper line. I'm talking 10 inches. Gives him just a little bit more time to make the contact point cleaner.
And that's the thing, isn't it? If you don't take your chances, you feel as though there's either a monster forehand around the corner or a huge serve.
Yeah, all credit to Fonseca. The service games that he has been in a little bit of trouble, he's found a way through every single time. Great return there.
Perseverance pays off for Rublev.
Rublev leads 3-1.
First break of the night.
Found the timing there off the return. A few balls a little bit cleaner, a little bit more penetrating.
Love 15. Love 30.
Needs to dig deep again if he's going to get through this.
And again, another double fault. Because of the pressure that Fonseca puts on him. You're never sure if he's going to wander in, take it early, come in behind it. He tried to put it right on the line, Rublev. And he has to run the red line. And already Fonseca primed to get the break back.
That's been one of his most effective serves on that ad side. Slider down the tee. He's beaten him a few times with that on big points.
And that's been the key to his success so far in protecting his serve in this third set, is finding first serves on these breakpoint opportunities. His designated route out of trouble on this ad side, as Brad said, down the tee.
He had him beat. Rublev was guessing forehand on the forehand from Fonseca before that. Got caught leaning a little bit to his right. Oh my goodness.
Advantage Fonseca.
That was huge, huge.
167 kilometers an hour return. A 7th break point of the set. And it's 7th heaven. Back on serve for the 18-year-old.
Rublev leads by 3 games to 2. Third set, Fonseca leads by 2 sets to none.
How's that for maturity? I mean, Rublev did everything within his power to kind of somehow figure out a way to go 4-1 up. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially after getting that back to deuce, Fonseca still staying there, coming up with that absolutely crushed forehand cross court off the return. 104 mile an hour forehand off the return for a clean winner.
And just when you think you've seen it all, he produces something like that.
Time.
Keeps showing us the receipts of his greatness. It's easy to get carried away when you watch somebody like Fonseca, but let's put a bit of meat on the bones. This is the fastest forehand winner of the tournament so far, and it's left this man strings a couple of games ago. And Joe, the man in front of you, Chris Eubanks, on average has one of the fastest forehands in the game.
Well, I was leaning into him and saying, hey, he's almost playing like you at Wimbledon that one time, but I think this guy right here has just surpassed Chris's run at Wimbledon.
Out.
And isn't it amazing to see how short that little stretch of weak play was,
49.
and it wasn't even weak play, it was just a bit more hesitation, a few more unforced errors, but it lasted, what, 5 points, if at all?
Will be 15.
Found something there. Normal service resumed.
Easy, comfortable hold.
3 games all. Third set.
I love the way he holds the ball there. Takes his time, not rushed. Allowed Rublev to commit to the other side.
Out.
15 love.
Fault. Out.
30 love. Thirty 15. Forty 15.
Couldn't hold his break, but he's held his head up high. Once again, showing good character in that holder serve. Rublev, 4-3.
Leads 4 games to 3. Third set. Fonseca leads 2 sets to none.
Just about 15 minutes away, a little stroll back into the city in the evening is Flinders Street, right on the corner there. And as we say, much more these days than just a tennis tournament. Craig Tiley and the team just envisaged something just a little bit different, and they've taken it and made it just a great celebration of all things that are great about Australia, Melbourne, and the sport of tennis, and intermingled it with music. And so many kids here as well on the outside courts playing paddle and pickle and everything else.
Time.
Fonseca has been turning the magic on.
15 love.
Shouldn't get discouraged from hitting that shot.
He has to keep going for that. I just have the impression through the last few games, I mean, Andrey's not playing his best tennis either. As good as Fonseca's been and as impressive as he's been, and part of that is for sure that he's pressing a little bit because of what Fonseca's doing.
Fault.
But he's made some unforced errors trying to create a little more offense. I don't know that I would call it pressing, but maybe shot selection wise, taking a little more risk here and there because he feels like he has to do a little bit more with the ball. That backhand was a good example, but there was forehands in the game before that were made a couple of errors that are just not characteristic
isn't that what
for
the great
him.
players do, Brad? They make you beat yourself because you feel like you have to elevate your level.
Absolutely, and Joao Fonseca is absolutely doing that. Not only from the offensive standpoint, but he's been very good on defense. Also, fighting balls back into play, making Rublev have to hit an extra shot. You start to feel like the court is shrinking a little bit, and you're trying to hit the ball closer to the lines.
Out.
That one got away from him.
30 all.
And again, now a little opportunity here. Deep in the set.
Come on.
A little bit of energy and emotion from Andrey like that. Thought this play coming forward from Fonseca was a little bit forced.
Fault.
Too conservative.
Too conservative, and the same thing we were talking about before. And Andrea's down there closer, but he's standing in on that second serve, and he mishit the ball. It got relatively deep in the court, but it just didn't have a lot on it. Gives Fonseca time to really load up on that first ball and take time from him.
I mean, he can redistribute from the middle of the court with that forehand as well as anybody on tour already.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Second.
And I mean, again, taking time away early in the rally and then getting that ball right in the middle of the court. He's playing out of the middle of the court. Not having to move a lot.
Fault.
Again, Fonseca. Four games all, third set.
And already good understanding how to conduct the crowd.
Well done.
15 love.
Andrey able to dictate on both of those 2 points, starting out with a good serve to open up the point. Good execution on the ground strokes there.
Wait, please. $40.
Fault.
$40-15. Again, Rublev.
Nice and quick, clean and deadly hold of serve. Very opportune time to deliver that from Rublev. 5-4.
Leads 5 games to 4. Third set. Fonseca leads 2 sets to love.
Andrea, I know you're a fair distance away. Any idea what that was about? Was it about the racket that it sent off that's not back yet?
The racket is actually
it is
there.
back, yeah.
Yeah, it is there. I was wondering whether he asked if the stringers are still there so he can send more rackets back. But it was unfortunately inaudible from here. I thought he said stringing, but I wouldn't bet my house on it if I were you.
Well, at least he's planning for the long haul. Rublev has set a few tests for the 18-year-old throughout the course of this match. Here's another one for Fonseca to try and pass. Can Rublev take us to a fourth?
Fault.
One of the few times we've seen him actually push Fonseca away from the baseline on a return.
After the double fault, it feels as though he hasn't hit a second serve above 160. We showed you the number of 175 on average he was hitting with his second serve, but feels like he's dropped pace.
Well, and I will say I saw him in qualifying. I went down to see him in qualifying, and he was not serving the second serve as big as he is today, or as he was today, because I agree with you. I do think it has dropped a little bit.
That's just well done. Holding Rublev on a string on that backhand. He had to look for the cross court from that position.
Fault.
absolutely astonishing.
Running cross-court forehand from here at the feet of Rublev. And then the finish. What a running forehand that was.
Well, and Brett, now this return stance is working because the second serve has dropped 10 kilometers per hour in speed. Otherwise, it wasn't working before. But I think it's now sure that it's dropped a little in speed.
That makes sense. Fonseca the one giving Rublev a little bit of extra time, the time that I was suggesting that he get from going back a little bit when he was serving bigger, but now he's getting that time, getting a cleaner hit on the second serve. Using the crowd a little bit, that's for sure.
Game zone. Third set.
Cautious swing there on that last backhand from Rublev.
Love 15.
Well done. Rublev at that point keeping Fonseca pinned pretty deep behind the baseline. It's the first time we've really seen that. Kept him back there for that entire rally.
I like the fact that his strategy is never static, though, Fonseca. Formidable first serves once again from Rublev.
40-15.
Fault.
After dropping the opening point of that game, that was a fabulous 4 points from Rublev. Carries into 6-5 here in the third set.
Two sets to love.
And he's never resented the challenge that's been posed tonight. He has accepted his fate, and he has tried to turn things in his favor. Lovely little shot of Fonseca's serve there in terms of the ball toss. Zero rotation of the ball, which is what you want for consistency.
In my opinion, no matter how this match ends, I do think this is a huge step forward for Andrey Rublev in terms of mental stability. I think he was exceptional today, and here he is meditating, maybe, considering all the things that are happening and how well Fonseca is playing.
It's only the opening round of the Australian Open, but it already feels like a magical night here in Melbourne. Fonseca trying to get us into a second tiebreaker.
Saw the opening. And that's where, as I was saying before, and you're absolutely not wrong, Mark, that he hasn't been able to produce what I would consider really his best tennis, but a big factor in that has been this young Brazilian able to run things down and turn defense to offense.
And there's no question that if you can get yourself out of qualifying in the manner that Fonseca did, very quickly, very easily, he comes in here with a lot of match experience under his belt in these conditions. And as we've seen in the opening rounds, it takes even the best players perhaps a few matches to find their best in a major. Unfortunate for Rublev that he's run into the 18-year-old in the opening round.
Stands out in that point for me, Mark, the slice backhand. As great as his offense is, as big as he hits the ball, he's done a phenomenal job of defending. That slice backhand kept him in that point. And it was a good slice backhand, low, down through the court. And then The finish on the volley. He's so complete for his age. Really impressive. It'll be interesting to see, as Andrea pointed out earlier, in the first breaker, he actually picked his pace up and hit the ball bigger throughout the breaker. See if he's doing that again through this one. Finding first serves, same position we were in set number 1 tiebreak. 3-love up.
3-0. 1 second.
Again, for me, the nuances of the game. Great first serve there from Rublev. Fonseca lets go and makes a really good stab backhand slice return.
What is impressive from the 18-year-old as well is the discipline to play within himself at that moment at 3-love. He knows he's got limitless power on that forehand, but he put it through the middle of the court, allowed Rublev to beat himself.
Love to see Andrey Rublev put out a little bit of extra energy in preparation for this return. Pacing, body language. Well done by Rublev.
4-3. Fonseca.
Keeps fighting. Finds his way back into this breaker.
It's not easy to find Rublev's backhand off that return, and he did it so comfortably. Can the forehand rescue Rublev?
Rublev withstanding the barrage.
5-all.
He survived that point. That was fun to watch from our vantage point, though. Found the inside of the ball on a backhand. The ball was sliding away from Rublev.
6-5. Fonseca.
All the superlatives exhausted, and all apply to Fonseca. Can he apply the final dagger? Simply phenomenal, Fonseca.
3 sets to love. 7-6, 6-3, 7-6.
A final flourish and a flawless performance for his first ever top 10 win. And there are many more to come. Welcome to the top 100. We'll see you in the top 10.
Beyond impressive.
Spare thought for Rublev. He has had his trials and tribulations away from the court, on the court. The struggles he's had have been well documented, explained this week. He came out here and he did everything he could. But there is not a lot you can do to stop this man when he plays like that.
What can you do when he's that dangerous? That last point, perfect example. You give him any sense of time to set up on that forehand, and he is going to hurt you.
Out hit and out of here. We called him Mr. Forehand before, but he had 13 of those winners. This man in your picture had 24. Outrageous. And the backhand down the line, even more special than the finishing shot, to be honest.
Yeah, the backhand down the line on the previous point was just spectacular. It was spectacular. What a shot. And the other thing that stands out for me, Mark, what you mentioned earlier, is that there's a sense of safety. As big as he's hitting the ball, there's a sense of safety. The balls aren't landing a half an inch from the baseline every single time. That last winner was 6 feet, 7 feet up the line.
In Melbourne, a new star is born. He dazzled under the lights. And no better person to interview him after the biggest win of his career than Andrey Petkovic.
Joao, you're 18 years old. Okay. That already gets an applause, but I wanted to say you're 18 years old and you just beat the #9 player in the world, Andrey Rublev. What were your thoughts on your tennis? Because we were all very, very impressed with your performance.
I mean, not bad. I just enjoyed every moment in this court, this amazing court. It's my first time playing in a huge stadium, and my first main draw of a Grand Slam, so I just enjoy playing. And I really want to thank this amazing crowd. There are some Brazilians here. A lot of Brazilians here who are cheering for me, and I just enjoy every moment. Just thank you a lot.
You really electrified the crowd, and you just mentioned it. There were a lot of firsts for you today. First time at the Australian Open, first time Grand Slam main draw, first time playing a top 10. How do you approach this? You seem to be okay?
I was just focusing my game, like trying to put no pressure on myself, playing with a top 10 guy in a huge stadium, and just trying to call the crowd to help me, and I just enjoyed playing. I was just playing my game, and well, now we're in the second round.
Into the second round, Lorenzo Sonego is waiting for you there, and I thought you will not have played so many of these guys, but you actually played Lorenzo already, and you beat him. But I have to ask you one other thing. In the tiebreaks, you played your best tennis. What's your secret? Again, he's 18 years old, and you played even better than you did before. How did you do it?
Well, I just tried to put all the intensity on the important points, and I think is one thing of myself that in the important points I play better. I go for the shots, and I'm courage. So, yeah, that was the difference today, and yeah.
Very well done. Just one last question for me. If I go to Brazil and I want to buy the talent that you have, how much money do you think I would need?
I mean,
it's unfair, this question, I know.
It's a little bit unfair. Like Roger says, the talent's it's not enough with hard work, so I put a lot of hard work. Just me and my team knows that. And yeah, I think that's it. One last thing I want to say. Aqui é Brasil, vamos!
Joao Fonseca, everybody, into the second round.